Hey there. Today is your weekly dose of higher consciousness quiz. And we're taking a look at some interesting health and wellness related topics. So today's quiz, I'm asking you to kind of feel your way or intuit your way or discern your way into guessing which is of highest consciousness. Is it a sauna, going into the sauna? Red light therapy, sound healing therapies, and I wanted to look at the blood type diet. This was interesting to check out the calibration of this. So that's today's weekly dose of higher consciousness quiz. And before I tell you the answer to the quiz, this is the week I get to do a little spiel about the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com. And my name is Liz Garcia. I am your happy host of Trumpeter of Truth Radio.com on the podcast and Trumpeter of Truth TV.com on my YouTube channel, where you'll get your weekly dose of higher consciousness quiz once a month. And this is the place to discover what I call the foundational basics and essential understandings for raising your level of consciousness and building a better life. And I do all of this, I support this intention by putting power and truth into context based on the consciousness research of Dr. David R. Hawkins and the map of consciousness that came out of decades of this type of research. And if you're unfamiliar with the map of consciousness, I'm going to share the book with you right here. I recommend for newbies. It's a proven energy scale to actualize your ultimate human potential. And why not? This is kind of a huge pioneering thing that we have access to this understanding of consciousness, So this is what the podcast was created for, to help you to integrate the truths that are powerful truths that are being revealed here. And understand that consciousness calibrations are not opinions, nor are they judgments. They are simply the measurement of energy fields. And I love to use the analogy of Susie Sunshine has a very different energy coming from her than Doug the Downer, right? There's a gray cloud hanging over Doug and sunshine hanging over Susie, and the energy of emitting those energy that's coming from one of those types can be measured. So I'd like to share the quiz because it really shores up, puts everything into context, so you can stop guessing and thinking you know it all, which the mind likes to do. The lower mind likes to think that it knows everything and it wants to be right and prove others wrong. So before I give you, and I do want you to maybe write it down on a piece of paper, which one do you think is of highest consciousness? Is it taking a sauna, going into red light therapy, which I think there's a sauna with a infrared sauna as well. So I think it's a similar type of application. And then sound healing therapies like gong baths or crystal singing bowls, or singing bowls in general. Tuning fork therapies, sound healing modalities that in the Mind, Body, Spirit Network, we have a lot of different events related to sound healing. So before I give you the answer to the quiz, you can write down what you think is the highest, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to introduce our sponsor, the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com, which is a website that I created to raise your level of consciousness on a wide variety of topics to help you be the change you hope to see in the world and your own life, for that matter. And I do this by consciously creating and curating content that is of higher consciousness, has been calibrated. Not everything has been calibrated because I don't have access to that, and I don't do calibrations because I don't trust the narcissistic core of the ego in me, thinking that I know it all. I ask someone else who's more neutral and able to do that from a kind of a clinical point of view, a clinical energy field, interested in the truth, not opinion or judgment. So that's what I do at the Mind, Body, Spirit Network. It's intended to raise your level of consciousness, and understand that when you listen to things that are of lower consciousness, with the intention of improving your level of consciousness, or, making a change in your life, if you listen to stuff that does not hold any truth, in other words, the energy of it calibrates below 200, it can't help you. You can't change. You're likely going to feel worse, which is no good. And I have to say, I've had some energy healing done to me, which is not, most energy healing is pretty high vibe, but this one particular one that I had calibrated, I felt like crap after. I'm like, and then I got the calibration. It's like, no wonder I felt like crap after. It's low vibe. It holds no truth. It kind of, brings you down a rabbit hole of not feeling good. So I want to invite you to head on over to the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com. You could subscribe to a newsletter. You can opt in for our daily push notifications, because I share a lot of consciously curated content. It's really your daily dose of higher consciousness on a wide variety of topics. Like I do a song of the week that's high vibe. I do a life lessons from some of the most renowned spiritual leaders of our day that are of teaching of higher consciousness. I also share a weekly dose of Dr. Hawkins' good humor and advanced spiritual awareness. We share some of his videos. I share this, of course, and then we have weekly online events and online courses that can help you shift, again, on a wide variety of topics related to mind, body, spirit, health, personal transformation and development, and spiritual growth. So that's my plug for the Mind, Body, Spirit Network. And because I care about the truth, and I care to be of value to listeners and viewers and our audience and our community, I had the website and the podcast and the videocast all calibrated as to their level of consciousness, to make sure that I'm actually walking the walk and not just talking the talk. And I asked the gentleman who runs consciousnesscalibrations.com to do calibrations of all of those for me, and he came up with calibrations. I think the lowest was 320 for our directory, and the highest was 350 for the video cast. So apparently video was of a higher level of consciousness, likely because you're seeing me, you're seeing my expression and my way of being. The energy of that is higher than the podcast, but still it's all high vibe. In the 300s is huge relative to the world these days, so I'm thankful for that, which is not to say I couldn't take a downward spin into the tunnel of darkness. It's unlikely, because I've already been there and I'm climbing my way back out of it. So I'm here to help. So let's get back to the quiz. I found it really interesting today to see the calibrations, and we're going to start with the highest level of consciousness. Why don't we start there? What do you think is of the highest consciousness today? And just so you know, just because something is a higher level of consciousness than another, it doesn't make it better at all. It just holds more spiritual truth, and it's not necessary to be some things just don't require that much energy or that much power or that much truth. They just don't. It's not necessary. So to be healthy, as an example, calibrates at 360 on the map of consciousness. So if you want to be healthy, you've got to intend to align with that frequency, that energy field, and take steps towards improving it, which you can do by what we all know. First of all, what you think is huge, and then taking steps to give the body, positive oriented stuff, and exercising the body. Most athletes are healthy, so running is of the same calibration as being healthy. So running is 360 on the map, and being healthy is 360, which is huge. So the highest level of consciousness in today's quiz is a sauna at 365, which is so interesting to me because I hate those things. I hate the heat. I hate the dry heat for some reason. But now that I understand that it's a super high vibe thing to do, I might want to rethink that and let go of my little self, my little mind thinking I know anything about it. But I'm not a fan of the heat in the sauna. The next thing on the next highest level of consciousness is sound healing therapies that calibrate at 340 on the map of consciousness, which is 10 to the 340th power, which is also the same level of consciousness as energy healing and energy medicine. So it's an energy healing or energy medicine kind of field. Sound healing therapies are. And again, I requested this calibration, which is fun that I got my answer, because he can't answer. If you go to consciousnesscalibrations.com, this is where I got all of the calibrations for today's quiz. It's a subscription-based website. It's like a nominal monthly fee, but he's got a lot of work to do, and a lot of people are requesting calibrations, and I'm happy to say he responded to this one. So my question to his, could you please calibrate the level of medicine of sound medicine, also known as vibrational medicine, like tuning forks, singing bowls, gong baths, the sound of your own voice, the science and spirituality of music, healing sounds and vibrational frequencies, drumming, flute, devotional chant, etc. All of these sound healing therapies are in the energy field of 340, which are positively oriented, constructive, life-affirming, and, focus on improving. They can improve your life and your health, and at the very least, act as excellent preventative medicine, for sure. It's a fun way to prevent, keep yourself healthy by exposing yourself to these, energy healing and sound healing therapies. Interesting calibration of the next two, which I was surprised. They're both the same level of consciousness. Red light therapy is 195 on the map of consciousness. That's a low vibe. That cannot help you. Red light therapy is downward pulling destructive energy. It's going to make you feel worse. So you should know that. However, I'm aware of infrared saunas. And I don't know if the two together, that the sauna part of it has a high level of consciousness, so it could be helpful, but the infrared is probably a waste. You don't need the infrared. The sauna alone is powerful enough. And it's above the level of healthy. A sauna at 365 is 10 to the 365th power versus healthy is 310 to 360. And if you know logarithms, it's a quantum leap above healthy. So saunas are excellent ways to take care of the body. And this is really interesting. The blood type diet holds no truth at 195 on the map of consciousness. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really interesting to understand that one. And let me see if there was any. So I know a friend who used the blood type diet, and it's a popular way of eating specific to one's blood type that is said to have health benefits. So according to conscious calibrations, it's not true. However, there is a spiritual workaround to everything, and that is what the mind tells the body. The mind in the 400s is the spiritual workaround anything. And to say that you love your blood type diet is a spiritual workaround that can raise that level of consciousness of the blood type diet. But if you're doing it and you're not feeling good, this could be why. It does not hold any truth, and it doesn't have any power to help you, unless you think it does. And so let me read about the red light therapy too, because at $195 you don't want to use it, especially if you if you don't feel good using it. This would be could be the reason why. So red light therapy is a treatment that may help skin, muscle, tissue, and other parts of your body heal. It exposes you to low levels of red or near infrared light. Infrared light is a type of energy your eyes can't see, but your body can feel as heat. That's from webmd.com. But again, the calibration is low, so I'd say stay away from it. Stick with the sauna. That's it for today's weekly dose of higher consciousness quiz. How did you do on that? I don't think I would have done well with that one. I was surprised at all of the calibrations there, to be honest with you. So if you found this useful, please share it with a family of friends, or subscribe to our podcast at trumpetoftruthradio.com, or the YouTube channel at trumpetoftruth.com. And again, I like to end every podcast and videocast, broadcast with this. Love is the truth. At 500 and above on the map of consciousness, or 10 to the 500th power, it cannot hold the candle to what the mind has to think about it. The mind is all linear, cause and effect, and at higher levels it just doesn't hold true. It's not true. And just because you're not aware of love, don't feel bad. Most of us are not even close to the awareness of love as the truth of our nature and of reality. Next week, we're going to talk about, is going to be the topic of the month. I like to pick out one topic and focus on that once a month as well. And I'm going to do the spiritual ego, because I have experienced it and found myself caught up in it, because, the ego loves the juice of itself. And it's interesting to understand what the spiritual ego is, because it does run rampant in this world. I understand why now. I'll see you then.